The following programming is EI, educational and informative.
Today on Mystery Hunters.
We're going deep undercover to investigate the truth behind some fairy tales.
But not this deep.
I'm tracking down a cave where a curse is supposed to turn the water red with ghost blood.
Cave's right down there. You see them? Yeah, there they are.
Could there really be a princess haunting the cave? And will I see her ghostly blood too?
And I'm going on a treasure hunt in Turkey for the legendary gold of King Midas. But according to the myth, he wasn't just given his gold. He made it with magic. Did he really have the power to turn everything he touched into gold? I follow the trails of clues from his palace to his tomb. 1,000-year-old tomb. Could it be filled with golden treasure? And Doubting Kate shows you a seriously cool way to create riches of your own.
I'll show you an awesome way you can turn pennies into gold.
This is Mystery Hunters.
We'll be right back with more Mystery Hunters. We now return to Mystery Hunters.
What if you had the power to turn everything you touched into gold? There may be someone who did. His name was King Midas, and legend has it he was given the gold touch by God. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Well, guess what? King Midas was real. He ruled a huge kingdom in Turkey over 2,000 years ago. And check this out. Archaeologists have just started uncovering King Midas's palace. If Midas was real, could his golden touch have been real too? Gotta get to that dig. Goes that Midas was very happy when he got his new power, until he realized that everything he touched turned to gold. He couldn't even eat. And worst of all, when he hugged his daughter, she turned to gold too. Midas begged the god to take his power back, and the god told him he could get rid of his power if he walked into the Pactolus River. When he went in, the gold flowed from him, and he was cured of his curse. There it is. The dig. This is where they're uncovering Midas's palace. So did this whole place belong to King Midas?
Actually, it did.
This is what the palace would have looked like in the time of King Midas. He must have been seriously rich to build a place like this. Maybe he really could turn things into gold. But if the story's true, they must have found tons of golden treasure at his palace. Have you dug up anything made of gold here?
We have dug up small pieces of gold, but nothing really big. And there's still a lot left of the palace to uncover.
So the archaeologists haven't found much gold yet, but maybe they're looking in the wrong place. Maybe Midas was buried with all the things he turned into gold. Search. Midas tomb. King Midas does have a tomb, and it's really close. Come on. That's it. King Midas's tomb. Could it be filled with golden treasure? This is a serious door. This is so cool. A 2,000-year-old tomb. So quiet. If I can find the room where he's buried, that might be where the gold is too.
Somewhere on this island, there's a mysterious cave where legend says a princess was murdered. The story goes that she ran away from her cruel husband and hid in the cave with her faithful servant. But her husband, the chief warrior, came looking for her and spotted her reflection in the water. He was so mad at her for running away that he killed her. Many people believe the princess haunts the place where she was killed because, they say, every year around the time she died, the waters turned red with her blood. It may sound like just a myth, but it turns out the cave is real, and I found someone who's actually seen the ghost blood. Joseph and Norman Perry grew up on Maui and still live near the cave where the princess was murdered by her angry husband. When did this all take place?
Well, it's a historical fact that it actually took place in the 1500s.
As little boys, the Perry brothers liked to swim in the cool water of the Wainapanapa Cave, except on the anniversary of the princess's murder.
We were really afraid of going in the water at that time because we looked on the side of the walls and there was, it was red.
Red rocks.
Red rocks.
Yes. It was the walls that were red?
It was walls that was red, and you looked in the water too and it was red. But we didn't know why, but, we were told that was the blood of the princess.
You were afraid of it back then?
Oh, yeah, and even till today, I think the presence is still felt.
I've seen a lot of weird things in my investigations, but ghost blood definitely has to be one of the weirdest. I have to check this out. Armin Engert is an expert pilot. He was born in Germany, but he's lived in Hawaii for the last 21 years. Have you heard of the legend of the Wainapanapa Cave?
Man, yeah, I have. It's a pretty eerie story. Once you're in that cave, it's like you're in a ghost house.
Can you take me there?
Yeah, I'll take you there right now.
Yeah, once we reach about 60 miles an hour, we can push out. You see how quick that takes off, huh? Yeah, this is fun, huh? Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, there's the cage right down there. You see them? Yeah, there they are. There they are. All right, cool. So, is there anywhere we can land? Can we get closer? We can get a little bit closer, but I can't land right at the cave. And here we are.
The cave's this way. She would have had to run through here to get to it. This is it, the blood cave. Could this cave really be haunted by a ghost that bleeds? It's really cold.
Once upon a time, there was a wicked cool scientist named Doubting Dave. But like many scientists, he wished he could turn things into gold. Just like King Midas. Until one day, Cassius, the god of money, appeared before him and told him,
I'll show you an awesome way you can turn pennies into gold. Anyone can do it. All you need is a few things you can find in any science class.
A metal dish, tongs, a beaker of water, some salt and water solution, a pinch of zinc dust, a stovetop, a soldering torch, and an adult to help you, preferably one who knows chemistry. Now, the only penny Doubting Dave had was his lucky penny, which he found as a child. But he decided it was worth the sacrifice and followed the money god's instructions to the letter. First, wearing his safety glasses, he poured a pinch of zinc dust into his dish. Then he poured some salt and water solution on it. Next, he set his burner to medium and put his dish on top of it. He waited 5 minutes. Then, when the dish was hot, he dropped his penny into it. In about 2 minutes, the penny started to look silver. Holy mama! He picked up the penny with his tongue and dropped it into the beaker of water. Once it was cooled, he wiped the penny clean. Then he carefully heated the penny with the soldering torch. And slowly, as if King Midas himself had touched it, his penny turned to gold. Doubting Dave was so happy with his new gold penny that he didn't even hear the god of money reappear. The god asked him,
"Do you know how brass is made?" "It's made by mixing copper, like your old penny, and zinc, like the zinc you used in your experiment. And it looks exactly like gold."
And Doubting Dave realized he'd been tricked. Then the god said,
"Now you've learned the lesson King Midas did. Be careful what you wish for."
So Doubting Dave ruined his lucky penny for nothing. But that didn't hurt anywhere near as much as having a book closed on his face.
We'll be right back with more Mystery Hunters. We now return to Mystery Hunters.
King Midas was a real king, but did he really have the power to turn everything he touched into gold? Maybe King Midas was buried with all the things he turned into gold. I'm visiting his tomb to find out. This is so cool. A 2,000-year-old tomb. So quiet. King Midas was supposed to be buried, but nothing's here. Is it possible his grave was robbed? King Tut's tomb was one of the only Egyptian tombs to be discovered with gold in it. All the other royal tombs were robbed. Maybe grave robbers got to the tomb before I did and stole all of Midas's gold. Hi there.
Hello.
Do you know anything about Midas's tomb?
The tomb over there?
Yes.
Yes, I happen to know quite a bit about it.
Really?
It was an incredible discovery.
What did you find inside?
I have a picture. And so there's the deceased.
That's the king's skeleton.
And we know from his skeletal remains that he was about 62 years old when he died and was buried with bronze vessels, elaborate furniture, and there were many wealthy objects in the tomb with him, the stuff that would be fit for a king.
Were any of those objects made of gold?
No. Unfortunately, no gold was found in the tomb.
I don't get it. King Midas was definitely rich, and the legend said he could turn things into gold. So, where's all the gold? Although, the legend did say he lost his power. Maybe his real fortune is somewhere else. This is the mighty Pactolus River. Well, it used to be mighty. The story says King Midas washed away his golden touch right here in this very river. Gold flowed out of him until his magical power was gone. So maybe the gold is still here. So it should be pretty easy to find some gold, if there is any. I don't think anybody will mind.
There's a cave in Hawaii where the water turns red once a year. A princess was murdered here 100 years ago, and some people believe they're seeing the blood of her ghost.
Yeah, there they are.
I found the cave. Could it really be haunted by a ghost who bleeds?
I can't see any place where a princess could hide, but it looks like there's an opening through there. Good thing I brought my bathing suit. It's really cold. And it's really cramped and small in here. I don't think there's gonna be room for the big camera, so I'm gonna go in alone with this and see what I can find. You guys wait here, okay? Okay. It's pretty cold. That's probably where the princess was hiding. This water, these walls,
They all look normal. I don't see any signs of blood. All right, let's go back. Hey guys, I didn't see any blood in there, but our eyewitnesses definitely did.
There's walls that was red, and you look into water too, and it was red.
What if it's not ghost blood that people are seeing? What if it's real blood? I've gone swimming in the water with sharks, and I've seen blood in the water when they attack. And piranha attacks can be pretty bloody too. But there's no way a shark could get in there. And piranhas live south of the equator, not here. But maybe there's another creature that's making the water turn red. Search Wayanapa Napa Cave, marine life. Got it. Could these be turning the cave waters red? Dr. David Fukumoto studies marine creatures, and he has microlobsters in his lab. That's the marine life that lives in the cave's waters. Now, they're pretty tiny. I don't understand how microlobsters could make the water in a whole cave red.
Sure. Let me show you. Try feeding them.
Yeah, look, there they are. They're all swimming to the top.
What you're looking at now is surface filter feeding, where they're swarming at the surface.
The microlobsters are hard to see when they're swimming alone. But when they swarm together to feed, you can see the red from their bodies in the water. It doesn't really look like blood in this bright room, but inside a dark cave, if enough of these came together, it could really look like blood.
Normally, they scrape the algae along the side of the rocks, on the bottom of the cave, but every so often, they'll all come up to the surface and begin filter feeding like what you're seeing now.
How often does that happen?
Very, very rarely. Maybe once a year.
Once a year, like the legend, how it says that the water only turns red once a year to commemorate the murder of the chiefess.
People have a tendency to associate things that had happened with natural phenomena like this.
So the red waters are caused by microlobsters, not the ghostly blood of a murdered princess. I wonder how many other famous myths are just stories that people came up with to explain something natural that they didn't understand.
If a cave ghost could be real, what about a tree spirit? That's what 12-year-old Cassie Trogani of Rhode Island, USA wants to know. She hasn't actually seen one, but she thinks she can hear them. Take a look on the Mystery Illustrator. Dear Doubting Dave, I've heard about horse whisperers, but could there be such a thing as a tree whisperer? Sometimes I get a strange feeling when I'm near trees, like I can almost hear them talking to each other. I once read about spirits called dryads who live in trees. Could I be hearing them talk? Well, Cassie, believe it or not, dryads exist in Greek mythology. According to legend, every dryad lives in and protects her own tree, and she lives as long as her tree does, which can be hundreds of years. But the truth is, dryads are just mythical creatures. There's no proof whatsoever that they actually live in bushes. Trees. So that means you aren't hearing a dryad talking. But there is evidence that trees can talk. Scientists have just discovered that when some trees are attacked by bugs, they send out a message to other trees in the area warning them. When those trees get the message, they release a chemical into their own leaves that protects them from getting eaten too. Of course, trees don't use words like we do. They release a chemical into the air to communicate with each other. So, Cassie, I doubt you're hearing trees talk either. But you might be hearing wind blowing through their leaves. Sometimes that can sound a lot like whispering. Apart from that, it doesn't look like trees and people are going to be talking anytime soon. Unless
right back with more Mystery Hunters. We now return to Mystery Hunters.
I'm looking for proof that King Midas could turn anything he touched into gold. The story says he washed away his power in this very river. Gold flowed out of him until his magical power was gone. So maybe the gold is still here. Just a rock.
You won't find much gold in the Pactolus.
So there is no gold in this river?
There was. There was lots of gold.
If there really was lots of gold in the river a long time ago, then maybe it got there because of King Midas.
We have some samples if you'd like to see them.
Yeah, that'd be great. These scientists are looking for King Midas's gold, just like me. And they say they found some. Is this the proof they've been looking for? It's not that impressive. It's so tiny.
You could hardly see it with the naked eye.
If this gold came from Midas, wouldn't there be more of it?
There was. There was lots of gold.
So where did all the gold go that was in the Pactolus River?
A lot of it was used to make coins.
The very first coins ever made came from the gold found in the Pactolus River. And they made so many coins, they used almost all the gold up. But the gold that was there didn't exactly wash off King Midas when he waded into the water. Scientists say that the gold in the Pactolus River got there because it was washed down from the mountain. King Midas was definitely a rich and powerful king, but there's no proof he actually turned things into gold. The legend is probably just a storyteller's imaginative way of showing us just how rich he was. Either way, it doesn't look like anyone struck it rich here. But who knows what they'll find if they keep looking. My bracelet.
Hey, Christina.
Hey. Araya, have you read through any of the other fairy tales in here? There are ghosts, witches, monsters, and...
Yeah, so?
Well, what if some of them are real? I think we should investigate them all.
Christina, none of those stories are real. Look, I bet Tut's tomb that they'd all turn out like King Midas and the Blood King. A few facts that got blown up into crazy legends.
Probably. But I'm sure there's at least one monster in here that's real.
Which one?
This one right here.
Very nice.
Doubting Dave, you can come out now.
Hey, guys, what's going on? Remember, things aren't always what they seem.
This is MeTV, Providence, New Bedford's home for memorable entertainment television. That's memorable. That's me.
MeTV.